Welcome back to Have More Babies. Thanks for sharing your sources with us. Today, we're diving into something that, often feels a bit abstract, maybe even just another scary name on a list, hepatitis B.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of parents, HPV is just like one more vaccine to track.
Mhm.
So our mission today is really practical. A parent-friendly walkthrough using these sources of what actually happens step by step when this virus gets inside a child's body.
Exactly. And that walkthrough is so important because we need to get specific, understand the how of the damage. This isn't just some minor bug. This virus can be a silent wrecker, setting things up for really serious diseases like cancer later on, shortening lives.
Right.
Understanding that whole invasion process helps us see why prevention is, well, just absolutely vital.
Okay, let's get into it. Starting with phase one, the invisible entry. How does this very tough virus usually get into a kid?
Well, it spreads through blood and certain other body fluids. For newborns, the biggest risk, the most common way, is actually during birth if the mother is infected.
Okay, birth makes sense, but what about, toddlers or older kids?
That's where it gets surprisingly common, almost mundane. We're talking about things that happen all the time.
Stain. Like what?
Like rough play at daycare, maybe bites, or playground scrapes where there's some blood contact. But the sources also point to sharing household items, things you wouldn't think twice about.
What kind of items?
Even things like nail clippers or toothbrushes.
Wait, hold on. Sharing a toothbrush could potentially lead to liver cancer years later.
Oh.
That really changes the perspective, doesn't it? From like a hospital issue to right there in my bathroom.
It does shift the focus, yeah. So once
Yeah.
the virus gets in through one of those routes into the bloodstream,
Where does it go?
it makes a beeline for the liver. That's its target. And that takes us right into phase two, the silent invasion.
Okay.
The virus specifically latches onto liver cells, they're called hepatocytes, attaches, and just slips right inside them.
And it's not just hanging out there, I assume. It starts working.
Oh, absolutely. It basically hijacks the liver cell's own machinery, forces it to start making copies of the virus. And we're talking huge numbers, potentially hundreds of millions of new virus copies.
Hundreds of millions. Why?
And here's the really crucial thing for parents to understand. During all this replication, this massive viral production, the child often looks completely fine, feels fine.
No symptoms at all.
Usually none. It's completely silent while this invasion is ramping up inside the liver.
That silence is, yeah, that's pretty terrifying. So if the child seems healthy, what's the body doing? What's phase three, the immune response?
Well, the immune system does eventually notice something's wrong. It recognizes this foreign virus. White blood cells get sent in to attack the infected liver cells. The goal is to clear the virus out.
Okay, so the body fights back. But
Harvey.
hepatitis B has this reputation for being really serious. Why doesn't the immune system just, knock it out like a common cold?
And that is what the sources call the tragic twist. Often, especially in young children, the immune system doesn't manage to clear the virus completely.
It fails.
Or at least it doesn't win quickly. And instead, the very act of fighting this intense immune response causes a lot of inflammation in the liver. It's actually the body's own defense causing collateral damage to the liver tissue.
But the fight itself hurts the liver, not just the virus.
Exactly. It's the inflammation from that ongoing battle. The immune system is trying to help, but it ends up contributing to the damage because it can't eliminate the enemy fast enough.
Which leads us, I guess, to phase four. The two different paths this can take, acute versus chronic infection.
That's right. If someone gets an acute infection, their immune system eventually does win. Clears the virus out within, say, a few months, they recover fully, and they actually get lifelong natural immunity.
That sounds like the good outcome.
It is. And thankfully, it's more common if you get infected as an older child or an adult.
But the real concern, especially when we're talking babies and young kids, is the chronic outcome. What happens there? And how common is that for infants?
That's where the statistics are really quite alarming. The sources are clear. Up to 90% of infants who get infected at birth or in the first year will fail to clear the virus.
90%. That's incredibly high. Why? Why are babies so much more vulnerable to it becoming chronic?
It really comes down to their immune system just being immature. A newborn's immune system is still developing. It's not fully geared up to launch the kind of strong, coordinated attack needed to wipe out a stealthy virus like HBV.
So the virus kind of slips under the radar, sets up shop permanently.
Pretty much. It establishes this lifelong chronic infection. And again, the really difficult part is, even while this chronic infection is settling in and starting that low-level damage, the child rarely shows any symptoms.
So damage is happening silently in childhood, laying the groundwork for problems later. That takes us to the last phase, phase 5, the long-term consequences. What's the payoff decades down the line for this chronic infection?
Yeah, the long view is where it gets quite grim. That constant low-grade inflammation from the immune system fighting the virus year after year leads to permanent scarring of the liver. That's called cirrhosis.
And cirrhosis essentially ruins the liver's structure, right?
Yeah.
Stops it from working properly.
Correct. It blocks up the liver, makes it hard and lumpy, and hinders its function. Severe cirrhosis can lead to liver failure.
Which might mean needing a transplant.
Exactly. And on top of that, this chronic damage dramatically, significantly increases the risk of developing hepatocellular carcinoma. That's primary liver cancer, and it's one of the deadliest cancers globally.
And the key thing is these terrible outcomes, cirrhosis, liver failure, cancer, they might not show up until someone's 20, 30, 40 years old.
But the process started way back with that childhood infection. The clock starts ticking then.
Okay, that whole sequence, the silent entry, the immune system's damaging fight, the scarring, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Our sources had a really helpful analogy to make it stick.
Yeah, the burglars and cement analogy, it's quite good, actually. It helps picture what's happening. So imagine HBV is like burglars breaking into your house, the liver. Initially, they're quiet. You don't even know they're there.
Okay, burglars in the house. Then your security system, that's the immune system, eventually detects the break-in and sounds the alarm.
Right. The alarm goes off, the defenses activate. But here's the twist. Instead of just neatly catching the burglars, maybe the security system goes haywire. It starts, I don't know, smashing the furniture, tearing down walls in its attempt to deal with the intruders.
So the security system itself is causing damage to the house.
Exactly. The immune response, the fight, is damaging the liver structure.
Yeah.
And over many years, that chronic damage isn't just like a few scuff marks. It becomes permanent, irreversible. It's like someone starts pouring cement into the house.
Filling it up, making it unusable, that's the cirrhosis.
Yes, the cirrhosis.
Yeah, the analogy really drives home why the best strategy isn't just managing the fight.
It's stopping the burglars from ever getting inside in the first place.
Precisely. Wow. Okay, that analogy really clarifies things. So pulling it all together, HBV is this stealthy virus. It gets in, often silently in childhood, uses the baby's immature immune system against itself, setting the stage for potentially fatal diseases decades later.
And maybe the most critical fact connecting back to those severe outcomes is this. Once a child has chronic hepatitis B, there is no cure.
No cure at all. What about treatments?
There are treatments, yes, antiviral medications, but they can only suppress the virus. They reduce the amount of virus replicating, kind of keep the number of burglars down, manage the inflammation.
But they can't actually get rid of it entirely. They can't kick the burglars out for good.
That's right. They manage the disease. They don't eliminate it. So since treatment isn't a cure, vaccination preventing the virus from ever establishing that infection is genuinely the only guaranteed protection against this whole chain reaction.
That puts the vaccine in a very clear light. It's not just one tool. It's really the tool for prevention.
It really is.
Okay, that's powerful context. Makes the need for prevention incredibly clear.
And maybe just a final thought for you to consider, based on everything we've discussed from the sources. Think about the scale of this. A virus possibly picked up today from something as simple as sharing a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Leading silently, invisibly, to potentially deadly consequences 20, 30, maybe more years down the road. That huge gap between cause and effect is why understanding this initial silent invasion is just so, so important.
Thank you. That really puts it all into perspective. And thanks again for sharing your sources and joining us for this walkthrough of HBV.
Yeah.
It's knowledge that really helps make sense of it all. And if you want more details on pediatric health or the prevention strategies we touched on today, please do visit omegapediatrics.com.
Yes, absolutely. We hope you continue exploring these vital health topics and use this information to make the best choices for your family.
And as always, if you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future deep dives, and share this with anyone else you think needs this information.
Definitely. Spread the knowledge. Until next time.
Goodbye, everyone.